What if the very system that is supposed to empower you is actually keeping you small? What if human design isn't helping you live your most authentic, expansive life, but it's actually secretly boxing you into an identity that limits your growth? If you have ever caught yourself saying something like, well, I can't do that because I'm a projector, or I'm just an angry manifester and that's just how I am, then this video is for you. I'm going to show you the hidden ways that human design might be holding you back and how to flip it into the most empowering, liberating tool that you have ever used. Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Nina Elise, and I am an embodiment and growth mentor, and I help driven women reconnect with themselves, clear what's in the way, and build deeply fulfilling lives rooted in authenticity and alignment. If that resonates, hit subscribe so you don't miss future videos where we dive deep into how to live life on your own terms. I want to get super real with you today because honestly, I have watched human design go from this expansive, powerful tool to something that people hide behind. And I know this because I did it too. When I first discovered human design, I was obsessed. And as an emotional manifester, I thought, oh, so that's why I get so angry and I'm so emotional. And that's why I feel so misunderstood. And this is why I struggle in relationships. And oh, that's why my partner and I didn't work together well. And instead of using that information to grow, I used it as an excuse to stay in patterns that I honestly just didn't want to change or have the self-awareness or emotional intelligence to change. And it became an excuse to justify my triggers instead of looking at them and actually healing them. And I used it as an excuse to avoid responsibility because that was just how my emotional wave works. But here's the truth that no one talks about. Human design is not meant to become your personality. It is not meant to be your identity. And it is not meant to keep you trapped in victimhood. It's just information. It's a map. It's a blueprint. It's a tool to experiment with. And it is not a box to live in. So first, let's talk about why human design becomes disempowering. When you use your type, strategy, or authority as an excuse, like I'm a projector, so I can't do that because I'm waiting for an invitation. Or when you justify poor behavior, like I'm a manifester, so of course I'm angry. So you'll just experience my anger. When you avoid taking action because your design says to wait or respond, and you interpret that as doing nothing or just waiting around. And none of that is the point. The truth is, you are still responsible for how you show up, for how you treat people, and for how you move through your emotions, for healing your trauma, and for the quality of thoughts that you think. Because quite frankly, your design, you just think it gives you a path. What it does do though, is it gives you a starting point. And the real magic is when you use human design to accept parts of yourself that you have been resisting or hiding from, to work with your natural energy instead of against it, to soften into the way that you are naturally wired and finally say, this gets to work for me. And I'll share a bit of my personal experience. So for me, that looked like learning how my manifestor anger was a signal. It wasn't a permission slip. It was basically this signal that something was off, and it was a signal to course correct, to take back my power by leading myself through it with emotional intelligence, to see how my impact affects other people and how my emotions impact other people. And honestly, that is where human design becomes wildly empowering because it points out where you are being a victim and how you can change it. It helps you release resistance. It gives you a deeper understanding of how you operate and how you impact other people and best interact with other people in a more empowering way, in a more compassionate way. And it reminds you that there is nothing wrong with you for being different. You are unique in your own way, and you can capitalize on your skills and your uniqueness instead of thinking that there's something wrong with you. But if you are sitting around waiting for human design to give you permission to live your life or be a certain way because now your identity is tied into living by your design, you are going to be waiting forever and you are not going to be living from a place of alignment. So instead, you can ask yourself, how can I use this information to become more of who I already am? And where am I hiding behind my design instead of taking responsibility? And this can be very humbling and very triggering to look at, to see how you are actually affecting other people when you are living in the shadow aspects of your design. And also, how can I experiment with this in a way that feels playful, empowering, and expansive? Because everybody wins here when you start truly living by your design. And it really can be a simple solution by starting to come back to your strategy and authority. And that is the whole point of human design, because your strategy shows you how to interact with life. Your authority is your internal GPS that leads you back to your truth. And honestly, that's the only rule that you really need when you are exploring your human design, is tapping back into your internal GPS and learning how to communicate and listen to your body and your truth. And everything else is just play. It's experimenting and seeing what works and what doesn't work. Because at the end of the day, human design is simply a system for navigating our mechanics. We also have several other aspects that make up who we are, like our mental, our emotional, our physical, and our somatic and our energetic bodies. And they are all uniquely intertwined based on a combination of our environment and our experiences and people around us that have fully shaped our beliefs and identities over the course of our entire lives. So to use one system as the end-all be-all seems really, really silly, because there is honestly truth in everything and it's all connected. And when we have an open mind and keep an open mind to this potentiality, it's our responsibility to explore and figure out and interpret what it means to us and how we work with it. Because at the end of the day, it's life and part of the journey. And it can be a burden or it can be an empowering, exciting adventure. You get to choose. If you are still watching, I know that there is a part of you that resonated with this. Otherwise, you wouldn't still be here listening to me. So you know that there is truth in human design, but maybe you're not entirely sure how to navigate it with all of the other intricacies of life, our emotions, or our thoughts or beliefs, or how to best apply it in a way that's empowering for you. And while you can take all of this information and run with it and find your own way, sometimes it is nice to have someone available for deeper support, accountability, and guidance in actually applying human design in an embodied way with all of these other systems that are connecting. So if this sounds like a heck yes to you, you can apply for one-on-one coaching with me at the link in the description here or on this video. And before we end, I want to leave you with this. A few years ago, I was living in a constant loop of frustration, anger, and burnout. And I remember thinking, if I could just figure out my design, live by it perfectly, then I'd finally feel good and I would be doing something right. But the thing that actually created change was taking full responsibility for my own growth and deciding that I was the one who got to lead myself, and realizing that human design was not my purpose. I was my purpose, and so are you. You get to decide. So my question for you is, how have you seen human design become disempowering or limited? And how are you choosing to use it in an empowering way instead? If this video resonated, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and share it with a friend who needs this reminder. It means so much to me that you are here. Truly, truly. And I want you to know how beautiful you are, how much meaning that you bring to the world with your uniqueness. And you are so loved and needed, not just because of your human design, but because of you. And make sure to check out my last two videos, which I'll link in the description and right here on the screen. I will see you all in the next one.